Beloved, bigger isn't always better. And the fact of the matter is, it's not, and we're going to pray. It's not for us to rail against what's bigger. It's for us to hyper focus on. Sometimes the Lord is going to call you to a plateau or to a hill that's hard to climb up to, or is going to have you go into a plain where you don't see nobody else gathered. And that's where you're going to receive the word and access true convening and fellowship. And that's where he seeks to have supper and to dine with you. But we're so driven and we're so distracted by going where everybody else is. And we're so drawn to, and we have such a predilection for our safety. And that, all right, it's a whole lot of people that don't get me wrong, in a lot of principles it's true. You know, I'm not telling y'all to hang out behind the corner store in the back alley at midnight where ain't no lights. Don't get me wrong, but I understand the principle of safety in numbers. I understand the principle of safety in numbers in war. But it's a different thing spiritually. Was Goliath big? Yes. Were the Philistines intimidating? Yes. Yet it took a child with one stone to take him down. Bigger is not always better. Wide is the way, and it always will be, that leads to destruction. Somebody needed to hear that today. Because if we're going to be utilized by the power of the faith, and Lord knows my time has expired for this morning, then he's calling us to rarity. You are a peculiar people, according to Peter the apostle, I believe. All of us are good. We've mentioned this again or recently, in recent weeks, we mentioned this before. We're good with being chosen. We're good with being a royal priesthood. We start choking on the scripture when he calls us peculiar, because that don't seem safe. Being rare and being unusual and not being popular and not having a whole lot of likes and shares. That ain't safe. We complain about the politicians that we have, but yet we won't vote for somebody that ain't as popular as somebody else, or who don't have as much money in their coffers. And then you wonder why the swamp needs drained all the time in Washington, because we keep throwing support behind the populace. And that's where you find corruption, big this or that, money this or that. And it's corrupt, beloved, but we won't support the small man or the small female that has good ideas and good principles, but just ain't got the same money and the same support and following.